Apollo 1 FAR 1967. In the race to the moon, few events shook NASA and the world like the Apollo 1 tragedy. Meant to be the first crewed mission of the Apollo program, it ended not in a launch, but in a devastating fire. The accident claimed the lives of 3 astronauts and forced a complete re-evaluation of spacecraft safety. Though it never left the ground, Apollo 1 became one of the most pivotal chapters in the story of space exploration. Apollo 1, originally designated AS-204, was planned as a low Earth orbit test of the new Apollo command and service modules. The crew chosen for the mission were 3 of NASA's finest: Virgil Gus Grissom, a Mercury and Gemini veteran; Edward H. White II, the first American to walk in space; and Roger B. Chaffee, a promising rookie astronaut on his first spaceflight assignment. On January 27, 1967, during a plugs-out test on the launch pad at Cape Kennedy Air Force Station, the astronauts were sealed inside the command module. The test was meant to simulate conditions leading up to launch. The cabin was pressurized with 100% oxygen, a common practice at the time, but it created a highly flammable environment. The spacecraft was also filled with combustible materials such as nylon and Velcro, and its electrical system was known to have several wiring issues. At 6:31 p.m. Eastern Time, a sudden electrical spark, believed to have come from exposed wiring under Grissom's seat, ignited the pure oxygen. The fire spread explosively. Within seconds, the entire cabin was engulfed in flames. The crew tried desperately to escape, but the command module's hatch was complex, required multiple steps to open, and opened inward, making escape impossible under pressure. In less than 20 seconds, all 3 astronauts had succumbed to smoke inhalation and burned. Ground crew could not reach them in time due to intense heat and toxic fumes. The tragedy brought the Apollo program to a halt. NASA immediately launched an investigation through the Apollo 204 Review Board, which found multiple failures, unsafe materials, poor wiring, inadequate emergency procedures, and a flawed hatch design. Public scrutiny and congressional hearings followed, placing immense pressure on NASA to make sweeping changes. In response, the Apollo spacecraft underwent major redesigns. The cabin atmosphere was changed to a nitrogen-oxygen mix during ground operations to reduce flammability. Flammable materials were replaced with fire-resistant alternatives. Electrical systems were restructured, and most importantly, the hatch was redesigned to open outward and be jettisoned in seconds during emergencies. The Apollo 1 fire was a tragic turning point. Though it cost the lives of 3 brave men, it led to a safer and more reliable spacecraft. The lessons learned directly contributed to the success of later missions, including Apollo 11, which carried humans to the moon just over 2 years later. NASA never reused the name Apollo 1 for a mission, but officially honored the crew posthumously with the title. Grissom, White, and Chaffee never made it to space on Apollo 1, but their sacrifice was not in vain. Their legacy lives on in every successful mission that followed. The fire that took their lives also sparked the reforms that made it possible for humans to reach the moon and return safely. They are remembered not just for how they died, but for how their loss helped ensure that others could live to explore beyond Earth.